Hey, Motorman here. If you're not familiar with this channel, I'm a retired motor officer. I'm the maker of the Ride Like a Pro video that teaches you the motor officer techniques. I've been doing this for a lot of years. And also on this channel, I give you my opinion on many different things, motorcycle related, of course. I do some road tests, and also I show you some products that I think will be of interest to you. And today, we're going to talk about the other heavyweight touring motorcycle V-twin that nobody buys. A couple of months ago, I did a similar video on the Yamaha Venture, and about 500,000 of you watched that video. So we're going to talk about the other one now and why that is. So come on, let's take a ride. But first, cue the intro. Remember, a few months back I did a review of a Yamaha Venture. It happened to be a used one that was at the Harley dealership, because no Japanese dealers or metric dealers around here will let you ride their motorcycle unless you buy it first. Doesn't make sense. You can walk into any Harley dealership and take a $40,000 motorcycle for a ride. They got no problem with that. But for some reason, metric manufacturers, I don't know if it's there and have different insurance, but they won't let you ride it unless you buy it first, which doesn't make much sense. But anyway, when I did that story on the Venture, I said it was one of the best cruisers or touring motorcycles that no one buys. And the reason I say one of the best is because all the motorcycle journalists, when that bike came out, put it up at the top of the class. Initially they were closer to 30,000. I think they've added some options, added some things that were options, and now they're standard equipment, and they lowered the price to about 27,000, but still the dealers couldn't get rid of them. 2-3-year-old models sitting on the showroom floor. And the same thing with the Kawasaki Vulcan, Voyager, and Vaquero, except those bikes are much cheaper. I mean, you get one of those, if you found a 2-year-old model, you'd probably get a couple of $1,000s off list, and they were easy to find, brand new, sitting on the showroom floor with big discounts. The Voyager, you bought one of those bikes, that's a nicely equipped motorcycle for about $16,000. That was a lot of motorcycle for 16 grand. ABS is standard, albeit they don't have cornering ABS. But like I said, one of the problems with those bikes is a drivability problem, where if you shift gears, is when you shut the throttle, it's almost like you shut the ignition off. And then when you give it throttle again, it's like you suddenly turn the motorcycle on. So you got a lot of herky-jerky movements with those motorcycles. They were very difficult, and still are very difficult, to ride smoothly. But there's a couple of companies, one of which, a guy named Ivan up in Rockland County, New York, who takes your ECM and he does his magic with it, and that takes care of that problem. It's somewhere around 350 bucks. It does probably void your warranty, depending on your relationship with the dealer. But once that's done, they are an excellent ride motorcycle, very smooth, nice handling bike, especially at speed. Not the best at low speeds, especially compared to this motorcycle, and that's due to the longer wheelbase and rig. But they're a fine motorcycle, they're priced right, yet nobody buys them. And when I say nobody, I don't mean they don't sell any of them. They just sell very, very few. I really don't know the reason for that. I could say that, well, when you get up into the $18,000, $20,000 price range, people are going to go for Harley Davidson. The least expensive Harley bagger touring motorcycle is the Electric Light Standard, which lists for right around 20 grand, comes with ABS. But of course, dealers are marking them up a couple of $1,000s because they're very difficult to get, just like any Harley right now, with the exception of the older model Sportsters. Plenty of those around. But as far as the touring bikes, which are Harley's biggest sellers, believe it or not, their most expensive bikes are their big sellers. So to say the Harleys are too expensive, yeah, well, if you compare it to the Kawasaki, that's true. The Kawasaki's have gone up in price. over the past couple of years, but still priced right. I believe a brand new Voyager lists right around 20 grand, and the Vaquero about $1,500 less, about 18.5. Excellent motorcycle for that price. Though if you haven't been shopping around for a big touring motorcycle in a couple of years, you could get sticker shock from that. And Kawasaki is adding a surcharge. I included that when I said 20,000 and 18.5. I guess it's all because of shipping has gone up so much. But it's a fine motorcycle, fine riding motorcycle. They just can't get rid of them. Dealers don't want to stock them because they lay around the showroom so long, and they're paying interest on those motorcycles. So they like to, as every dealer does, they want to get them in and out as fast as possible. So if you've got an idea as to why they can't sell, or they don't sell very well, you comment below. My idea is, well, first of all, they haven't changed them since 2009 to 2022. Is the exact same motorcycle, exact same drivability problems, and the less choices of color. They used to have some excellent choices of different colors on them. Now they have 2 choices on the Voyager and 1 choice, a denim black or a matte black on the Vaquero. But again, you know, they're quite a bit less expensive than Harley Davidson. So why don't people buy them? Is it because once you get over that, I don't know, $18,000 range or so, people either buy a used Harley, or they'll save up their money, put a bigger down payment, or make higher payments, or have that payment plan gone out to 5 or 6 or 7 years. So there's a certain price point where people just will not buy. If they're in the market for a heavyweight cruiser touring motorcycle, they're either going to buy a Harley Davidson or an Indian. Indians and Harleys are pretty close in price, within probably $1,000, depending on the model, the equipment. So the Kawasaki Voyager, Vaquero, excellent motorcycles, great for touring, smooth, powerful. I say powerful, I mean they got a lot of torque, not much horsepower, about 63 horsepower. So yeah, Kawasaki should up their game, but I can see why they don't. When 63 horsepower was the norm for heavyweight touring motorcycles, or 63, 65, 70 horsepower was the norm, they still didn't sell well. Now they'd be slow as compared to the Harley 107 or 114, or the Indians 111 and 116, I think they have. But I don't think that giving it more power right now would help. I think they might try to change the entire design or upgrade the styling, whatever. They haven't done that, like I said, in 13 years. So that's my guess as to why they're not selling. They're priced a little bit too high for that market. If people are going to spend that kind of money or more, they're willing to spend the more money on a Harley or an Indian than they would on a Kawasaki. That's just my thoughts on that.